This woman got handed instant karma after she took her husband to court because he wasn't paying child support. Now her husband's salary is $70K a year and her salary is $170K a year as an attorney. She pays for private school and he pays for health insurance, and they share custody and time for their kid. But get this.
Although she makes more money, she has an extravagant lifestyle. The hair, the nails, the massage. You know, she didn't tell you about the personal chef or the maid that she has come clean the house every week.
So now it's making sense, okay.
Now she went to court to receive child support, but she ended up paying child support instead.
When it comes to one-year-old Dante, Pierre, you are the father. Case of two-year-old Miracle, James, you are not. She begged that man to take off the father. In the case of 7-week-old Andrew, Trevin, you are not.
That ain't a hot boy, I'm a black boy.
Saying that it's better for there to be a 50-50 custody, right? Maybe the female, just looking at the other sides, backed against the wall and going, gosh, if I don't keep my children more, which I'm used to doing because I've been a stay-at-home mom and I don't have any career basis, I go out there and I work, I'm not going to be able to afford this apartment or whatever for my children if I don't make the split difference so that he can pay me more so that I can have the amount of income to survive.
Child support has nothing to do with your ability to earn. Child support has to do with...
No, I didn't say it had anything to do with ability to earn. I'm saying that the female didn't have ability to earn, possibly. She's making an error judgment, but with a financial need to go after her ex for more custody, possibly because she thinks, and she's right, she doesn't have the capacity to go make the living on her own.
So basically what you're saying is that there's a mother who doesn't have the ability to make a decision on the best interest of her children because she's putting money...
No.
That's exactly what you're saying.
No, you're twisting my word.
Okay, Miss Canada, all right. You brought this case before the court. What's going on?
I'm seeking child support and back pay from this man.
Okay, just straightforward. That's what I like. Just get right into it. How old is the child?
The child is now 3 years old.
3 years old.
And I have not received any child support.
In 3 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Sir, is there a reason you haven't given her any child support in the past 3 years?
Yes, ma'am, there is.
What is that?
We've been discussing the paternity obligations.
Okay.
Under the circumstances, you know, I don't think I was the only person having a fling with Rocky at the time that you know, she and I had that time together. And,
excuse me? Are you implying something?
Well, what I'm trying to say is that I understand that you may have been seeing some other people in addition to me. And the reason that I haven't provided
well, those are rumors.
I understand that. I understand that. But you haven't complied with my request for DNA test either, and that's my key. Is that if I have an obligation, I like to make sure it is my obligation and not the obligation of some other father.
Well, maybe you should have been obligated to your wife whenever you were having an affair with me.
You know, you're right about that. And honest truth is
you are
that,
admitting that you're married?
Yes.
Okay.
And I've told her. I've told her that we had this fling.
You didn't tell me you were married until after.
That's correct. That's correct. I did not tell you.
I'm sorry, I won't disrupt you guys anymore.
So, you know, from my perspective, Your Honor, I certainly understand the situation. I'm not trying to be hard-hearted, so to speak, about this, but I think that there's some other questions that need to be answered before we agree on paying any kind of support, because at this point, we haven't confirmed whose child this is.
Okay. Well, I definitely have some questions too, but I don't think they have anything to do with child support. It's more about you guys' backstory, but that has nothing to do with me. However, has this man taken a DNA test at all?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Did he sign anything at the hospital?
No, he wasn't
acknowledging that he was the father? Okay. So he does have a valid point. Before we can actually place him on child support, he either has to accept parentage, which, according to what I'm hearing, you're really not accepting it.
He's in denial about his affair and doesn't want his wife to find out.
My wife knows.
Oh,
Yeah,
she
right.
knows now.
He's lying.
You told her?
I would have heard from her by now.
Notice.
I work with him, ma'am.
Oh. At the welding place?
I'm a receptionist there. That's how we met.
You're her direct manager. Oh, okay. Ooh, wasn't expecting that much tea this morning. Yeah, he's entitled to a DNA test.
Sure.
Okay, so before we can move forward with anything in terms of child support, looking at your financial documents you provided, he first needs to get a DNA test. So what I can do is you guys go and get the DNA test, then you can come back at a later date, possibly, if he's the father. If he's not the father, you are more than welcome to bring back as many people as necessary. I'm not implying by any means that what he's saying is true.
Right, he's
but if
definitely
he's
the
not
father.
the father, you can bring back as many people as necessary to get DNA testing, and we actually find the father and place him on child support.
Well, I know who it is, so that's not necessary.
Okay. Is there anything further?
Your Honor, can we get your assistance in having this thing compelled so that we can get this DNA testing done expeditiously?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And it will be done through the Attorney General's office.
Okay.
Because they are actually on site in the courtroom, and it will be in the courthouse rather. And it will be much easier and free to you all to go ahead and use their resource. Okay? If there's nothing further, you all are dismissed.
Thank you.
Rocky?
You're welcome.
If I have obligations here, I'll stand behind them.
I appreciate that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's a chillingly common scenario. Men discovering they've been cuckolded and trapped into decades of child support, with some even facing imprisonment for non-payment. The legal system heavily favors women, so it's crucial to take proactive steps to protect yourself. Never, under any circumstances, sign a birth certificate until DNA testing confirms the child's paternity. This precaution isn't just for your benefit. It also shields the child from the potential devastation of discovering their parentage later in life. The modern woman, many argue, lacks not only accountability, but also shame. Instances abound of women showing no remorse for their actions, even when their husbands have unknowingly raised another man's children. Given the prevalence of paternity fraud, trust is a scarce commodity. Every man must now diligently verify paternity to ensure he's not unwittingly shouldering the responsibility for another man's child. Sadly, there are often no repercussions for women who perpetrate this deceit, leaving men emotionally and financially shattered. In some jurisdictions, even after proving non-paternity, men can still be required to pay child support for the full 18 years. Paternity fraud, a deeply damaging form of deceit, often goes unpunished due to the leniency women receive within the legal system. Despite claims to the contrary, our legal system consistently favors women in criminal cases. Women who commit similar crimes to men are less likely to be charged, have charges dropped, or be convicted. They are also more likely to receive bail, shorter sentences, and serve a smaller percentage of their sentence before parole. An analysis in the UK suggested that if men were treated as leniently as women, the male prison population could be reduced by a staggering 84%. This leniency is particularly evident in cases where women commit crimes specific to their gender against men, such as paternity fraud, which is not even classified as a crime. As a result, there are no consequences for women who commit this act of deception. Moreover, cases of women raping men are often not taken seriously by law enforcement. Many police officers either refuse to investigate reports of female perpetrators or treat male victims as if they are the ones at fault. This systemic bias and lack of accountability highlight a troubling disparity in the justice system. Domestic violence against men often leads to shocking outcomes. When a male victim calls the police for help, he is more likely to be arrested himself, 33%, than to see his female abuser arrested, 25%. This stark reality is a result of a social phenomenon known as gamma bias. This bias skews perceptions, magnifying or exaggerating harm from crimes committed by men while minimizing and excusing harm from crimes committed by women, especially those against men. In the legal realm, women are often not held as capable or responsible as men, leading to different standards and lesser sentences for the same crimes. Modern feminists remain silent on these disparities because the system benefits them, reinforcing the status quo. Paternity fraud remains legal for similar reasons. There is little outcry or feminist critique. This lack of accountability extends to many crimes and acts of violence initiated by women, which often go unreported in crime and domestic violence statistics. Society's view of men as expendable and disposable contributes to this imbalance, allowing women to wield supremacy over men with little consequence. Criticism of such issues is often suppressed, with dissenters facing potential legal consequences. Meanwhile, destroying a man's life with lies is often seen as ethical, empowering, and moral. Men are viewed as little more than sperm donors, expected to fulfill child support obligations regardless of the circumstances. In my opinion, the legal language on birth certificates should clearly state that if the mother is unsure of the father's identity, she must leave the father's name blank and arrange for a paternity test to determine the potential candidates. Naming someone without full certainty should be considered perjury. If it's later discovered that she falsely named someone as the father, she should face perjury charges and be required to explain how she could have made such an error, especially when instructed not to name anyone if unsure of paternity. And that's it for today on Sigma Traits. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that notification bell. Support this channel through membership. You can also support through PayPal link in the description. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.